Hi guys, it's Dee. Just coming on this evening to share with you a few projects that I've made. I came on the other day and shared with you this album that I'd made using the Santoro Mirabelle paper. I'd used the A4 and the 12 by 12 and some of the embellishments. Now as you can see, I've got loads of the 12 by 12s left and probably about the same amount of sheets of the A4, which I'm still going to use on another project, but the bits that I'd used for this, the offcuts and all the little scrappy bits that you don't use on your pages and your pockets, I'd kept in a little basket to one side, and I've used the bits I had to create 2 more mini albums. So I just thought I'd come on and share with you those 2, but first I just wanted to show you that I'd finished the cover of this one. When I showed you the other day, I'd left it plain because I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and I finally did it the other afternoon. So for the flowers, I've used the same die as I'd used throughout the album, which is the Heartfelt Creations. That's the stamp. It's called Botanical Rose, and it matches with the die, which is called Botanical Wings, and they go together. And the ones that I did for the album, I didn't have the die then, I just had the stamp, so I stamped them, coloured them, and then cut them out by hand with a pair of scissors. But I have to say, having the actual die made life so much easier, and I can do them in half the time now because you haven't got to sit for ages and cut between each petal, blah blah blah. So that's what I've done, and I think they turned out quite a bit prettier actually, because you actually get to keep the edge of the flower, the die cuts on the outside of that, so that you get to keep that rather than cutting it off with your scissors like I did before. And I've just used some of the black flat back pearls that came with the embellishments, or part of the embellishments selection that you were able to buy. This leaf is the Creative Expressions, and some of the little resin flowers here I've used. This one I think is part of the embellishments pack as well for the Santoro, and other ones are just some cheap ones that I got from the works, and some that I've had in my stash for a long time. So that's all I wanted to share with you on that one, because you've seen the inside of that chunky album. And then the other 2 that I made are these 2 here. This was the next one that I made after the big one, and it's just basically little pockets, just using up the scrappy bits that I had left. So I've used chipboard to make the covers, and I've used grey, like a silver grey cardstock to make the pages, and for this one I've used the Stack the Deck binding. Laura Denison, I think, is the lady that invented that one. I don't generally tend to use that one because I feel that the hidden hinge is a more secure system, because it's all folded in on itself, and then the edges of it are tucked under the paper that you then stick on the spine, so everything is tucked and stuck in and underneath itself, rather than this that's a separate unit there, which I suppose over time, if you've not used the correct glue, could actually come unstuck and then the whole centre of your album's falling out. But I thought I'd use that binding system on this just for a change. I haven't used it in a long time, so I thought I'd give it a go. So I've used the bottom piece here is actually just one of the backing papers, or designer papers should I say, sorry, from the collection. This piece here with all the glittery sparkly bits, if you can see, if it's catching the light, was actually the front cover of the A4 pad. And then I've just stuck some metal embellishments. I've used metal corners and then metal embellishments just to create a bit of interest. Some of the little flat back pearls, some more of those flowers and leaves, and a little metal butterfly. On the spine I've used the Martha Stewart punch, which is just a large daisy. Let me see if I can find it. This one, because they don't have names on, do they? But it's this one. It's one of the deep edge punches. Got that cheap on eBay a while ago, so I thought I'd give it a try. And it's actually punched out quite nicely. So I just had a bit of silver cardstock that's got like a, it's not snake print, like a crocodile print pattern on it. So I've just used that on the spine, and then the back is plain, just with a little stamp there. which was another bargain I got from eBay. There's a set of Stampin' Up! Punches, just with little hand stamped and limited edition, made with love, created by, that sort of stuff on there. So, and then on the inside, I've used some of the new dies that I bought, which are Spellbinders ones. They're like the new pocket dies. I wasn't very well prepared for this, sorry guys. Let me just see if I can find them as well. Which one was it? This one? No, this one. I've been being really naughty lately and bought loads of new dies, and I've sorted out my life. I've sorted out all my dies. They're now in these plastic envelopes, 2 in each envelope, and they're in a basket, so now I can see what I've got, with the aim to hopefully using them more often. So we'll see. But I got all these on eBay, and there's those, and there's these two as well. There's that one which does like a half circle pocket, if you can see. So that's what it cuts out, that shape there. And then there's this one which is like the semicircle pocket, but it punches out that very pale lilac, if you can see. I don't know if you can, but anyway, that's what I've used. So I've just used some silver cardstock to create the pocket. I've made some little tags just with some offcuts. The resin flowers and the bows are the embellishments for the collection. I've used some of the metal pieces from my stash, and again that, oh god, Heartfelt Creation stamp and punch. This page here, I've made a little band with some magnets just to keep that closed, and then this is just a little photo book or a little journal spot, whatever you fancy. And that just gets held into place under there, again with some metal embellishments and a little bow. Each page has got a pull out for the pocket, patterned on both sides. And that Martha Stewart punch I've used again here to create a pocket, and again another photo mat in there. More metals and flowers. This is a Tim Holtz die. I'm not even going to bother looking for that. I think it's called the Ornate Frame, something like that. I've left it open so you can pop a photograph in behind. Some more flowers, punched and die cut. I've used as well something else that I bought on eBay. I think it was eBay, might not have been. Some metallic gilding waxes. I've never used them before, but I thought I'd give them a try. I've got a couple of different colours, and I've just used them just a very little tiny bit on the end of my finger, and just rubbed it on the edges of the petals just to create a bit of gliss. Gliss? Is that a word? Gloss. Oh my god. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, just a little bit. Anyway, and again you've got the pull out for the pocket there. The next page is just plain, so you can stick a photograph in there. This one is a little belly band. This one doesn't open or anything, it's just purely a band across the middle, and that's one of the pictures from one of the embellishment packs I said about using your packaging and your waste to create tags and stuff. So I've done it on here again, just made a little tag, slides in there. More metals and flowers. Again, this one's got the pocket, or inside for the pocket. Next page again is just plain with some metal embellishments just for a photograph in the middle. This one again is that Martha Stewart punch, another little tag that I've created just with a little loop of ribbon just to create a little pull, so you haven't got to keep touching a photo or putting your fingers on the paper. And that sits in there. This was the centre of the Stack the Deck binding, and I thought it looked a bit plain, so I've just put some brads through that just to make it look like rivets, which I thought looked quite nice too. So I might use this, I might try this binding again on another book and do the same thing, because I quite like the effect of that. I might do it down the centres of all the gussets of the pages, because I quite like that. Oh, that's got a thingy in it as well for your photos. Next page is that frame again, the Ornate Frame from Tim Holtz. xxxxx die, that one of the big dies. Some more flowers. This page is another belly band. This is one of the wooden embellishments that comes with it. I've actually used it back to front. This should be the back, but I've just used the ink that was on my sponge, and I've used, no, it wasn't that one, Victorian Velvet Distress ink, and I use makeup sponges. I don't bother with the actual tools because they're too expensive, so I just use makeup sponges. And the ink that was left on my sponge, I've just literally gone around the edge of the frame and just put some colour on there. I've framed another little offcut of the packaging, which I've then gone over with some crackle accents, which has just sort of cracked it around the edges a little bit. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. I can't really see what you can see, probably not. And then I've just used one of the little ribbons up there, or bows, and then that creates another little pocket for another tag, which just slides back in there. And then, oh, it's not good, is it? Bit glue on there. Another little tag for the inside of the pocket. That's me rushing when I'm making these things. I just shove it all in, not waiting for the glue to dry properly, so I shall stick that. That's another plain page. Room for a big photo or for a big journaling spot. More metals. There's a little metal piece under the little bow there. This page, again using that Martha Stewart punch, and I've created a little tag with it as well. This is another offcut off the edge of one of the packaging boxes. I think it had twine or flowers or something inside it. And then I've just created a little space on the back that's fairly plain, so if you wanted to write on it you could do. And then there's a little resin flower at the top. Another little place for a photo. And this page, I haven't put a tag in there. Another little pocket there for a little tag. More metal embellishments and some punched flowers. And then the back page is the same as the front with that same like a lattice pocket. And then another tag just tucked in there for you to do with whatever you fancy. So that was that one, which I was quite pleased with how that came out. That took me, I don't know, a couple of evenings to do that. I think the hardest part for me half the time is to decide what I'm going to do with the cover. So I did that one. And then this one is a little toilet paper mini. I haven't made a TP mini for absolutely ages. And obviously my scraps were getting smaller. By the time I'd done that, I had some smaller bits left, so I thought they'll be perfect for a TP mini, which is what I've done. So I've used 6 toilet paper rolls. I've used the hidden hinge binding on this one, back to the one that I normally use, and I do think I prefer this binding. It's neater, less bulky down here, and I just think it's neater. So I've just used some of the plainer paper that I had left, and I've stamped around the edge with a stamp that I've shown you before that just came free with a magazine. I've used some metal corners again and some more metal pieces just to carry the metal feel across the front. The spine, I've used one of the metal embellishments that came with a Santoro collection, and then that's just a ribbon that came off of I think it was a soap set that I was given for Christmas or something, so I've just used that on there. And then the back is the same as the front, but I've used that same little stamp that says made with love. Again, it's chipboard covers, and then obviously toilet paper rolls as the inside, which I've painted silver. I should actually have painted them black, I suppose, but I was going for like a grey look like I've used in the other albums, but never mind. So the inside of the front cover, I've just used the same paper and done the same stamping for you to either stick a small photo or do some writing or a title or something in there. And then each toilet paper roll is exactly the same, obviously different papers decorated, but they've all got the same pull-out insert. The front here, I did stick a flower on, but I thought that by the time I'd embellished all the pages, A, you wouldn't have space for your photos, and B, it would probably make the book splay, so I've left it plain. But each pocket or each toilet paper roll has got a little tag, and I've used my, I don't know what it's called, it's the one that cuts like the little ticket corners. It's just a little punch I've had for a long time, made by a company called Crafts 2, if that's any help to anybody. And the punch itself is a corner punch that looks like that. So that's what I've used to create these shapes, and I've just used a corner rounder to round the corners of the tags. And then I've used some metal pieces just to wrap around, just to create a pull, and I think it makes it look quite pretty when they're all laying together down there like that. So like I say, I've left all the pages plain, so they can be used for and done with whatever you fancy. So just thought I'd share these with you, just as a little bit of extra inspiration, and to show you that, like, keep your scraps, because you can make, you know, loads of different stuff from bits that you've got left. So like I say, I've made these 3 books, and I've still got these scraps left. There's not an awful lot left in there now that's very useful, but there are some bits and bobs that can be used. And I've got what I showed you that's left in the paper pads. So that's it. I just thought I'd come on and share that with you. I have got another album to share, so I might come back. I haven't finished the front cover of that one yet either, but I might come back and do that in a little while. If not, it'll be next time. So thank you for watching, my lovelies, and I shall speak to you very soon. Love you lots. Bye now.